It's 6:05 p.m. Good evening, good morning, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Welcome to Interpersonal Toastmasters. My name is Jamal George, the president of this club. Everyone, please turn on your cameras so we can see you and have that connection. Before we proceed, please turn off your cell phone or set them on silent mode. Please mute your mics. Please help me welcome our phenomenal Toastmaster of the day, Carol Tsang. Carol, it's all you.
Thank you, Jamal, our Madam President. Dear Toastmasters and guests, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Carol, your host for today's meeting. There are 3 sessions in this meeting: the prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluation. The theme is feelings. All humans have feelings. By natural selection in Charles Darwin's theory, humans are wired to emotions. That is for survival, reproduction to the next generation, and for our well-being. Feelings come from emotions. By the way, what is the difference between feelings and emotions? According to the study in psychology, emotions are not conscious, but instead manifest the unconscious mind. Feelings are conscious experience. It is what you feel and physically can feel and touch. Humans are different from machines. Humans have feelings. Even though with artificial intelligence, humans build robots. Robots do not have feelings. There are 1,001 words describing feelings. As you go along the emotion wheels, you can find the negative and positive emotions. How are you feeling today as the night draws near? Happy, sad, angry, satisfied, stressed, or disappointed? These are positive and negative feelings. Most important of all, tonight, let's have fun and experience the path and learning process. And here for the thought of the day, let me invite Toastmaster Abhishek Jetli to share with us. Abhishek, to you.
Thank you. So the thought for the day is: a ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. So this saying basically means that we should go out of our comfort zone, try new things, and not be afraid to fail, because that's what humans are basically designed for. So that's the thought of
Thank you, Abhishek, for your thought of the day. Let's get out of our box and think and out of the comfort zone. To help me, I have a team of role players, and tonight I have the R counter and the timer. The R counter are Rishabh Reggie. Please explain your role, please. Thank you.
Sure. Greetings to Toastmasters. The purpose of the R counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these expressions. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Rishabh. Now for the timer, Toastmaster Shobha Samuel, can you please explain your role and the timing sequence for the 2 speakers? Thank you.
It'll be Swati. Swati.
So as a timer, I'll be monitoring time for each meeting segment and each speaker. So I'll also operate the timing signal indicating how long a speaker has been talking. So for speech, so typically it would be I'll flash green card at 5 minutes and yellow card at 6 minutes and red at 7. And for evaluation, it will be green card at 2 minutes and yellow card at 2.30 minutes and red card at 3rd minute. And for the table topics, it would be green card at 1st minute and yellow card at 1.5 minute and red card at 2nd minute.
And all right. And how about the evaluation?
Yeah.
The
okay.
evaluators?
For evaluation, it would be green card at 2 minutes and yellow card at 2.5 minute and red card at 3rd minute.
Thank you, Shobha, for your explanation. Now we will start our first session, the prepared speeches. Speaker number 1, Toastmaster Abhijit Joshi, is speaking from the Presentation Mastery level research and level 1, research and presenting. Can I have the evaluator, Toastmaster Jadip Rotidor, to give us the speech purposes? To you, Jadip.
Thank you, Toastmaster. So as Toastmaster mentioned, the pathway is Presentation Mastery Level 1, and the purpose is research and presenting. The speech will be 5 to 7 minutes long. And sorry, I have said the project. I meant to say the purpose, which will be to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jadip. After the speech, kindly give him a feedback in the areas that you like and the areas that he can improve to help him to take his speech to the next level. Please write in the chat box and send to him privately. You are given 1 minute to evaluate. Thank you very much. Now let's begin. Abhijit Joshi, The Secrets of Conversational Style. Abhijit Joshi.
It was March 3rd, 2020. I wrote a script and shared it with my friend Sarah. She reviewed my script and said, "It sounds like an essay." Essay? Sarah said, "It needs to be more conversational." Conversational. I had no clue what she was trying to say. I felt sad that I thought I wrote a perfect script. I started researching, what does conversational mean? I researched for a couple of days, and finally, I came across a blog by Lisa Marshall. Lisa Marshall shared 5 secrets how to make your speech more conversational. After I reviewed those secrets, I started applying those to each and every speech. Today, I'm going to share those 5 secrets. The secret number 1 was to use small sentences. When I used to write my speech, I used to have very long sentences so that when I would be at the end of my sentence, the audience would be lost. From that time, I made a conscious effort to have smaller sentences. Another benefit of smaller sentences was that it was easy for me to memorize. The secret number 2 was to use contractions. Contractions. I had to take some time to figure out what are contractions. When I started reviewing, I realized, oh, aren't is a contraction for are not. Isn't is a contraction for is not. I started listening to people when they're speaking, and I realized, people use contractions very often when they're just speaking. I made an effort to use contractions in my speech to sound more conversational. I learned the hard way about the secret number 3. Last October, I was participating in a humorous speech contest. I had practiced my speech, smell of life, over 50 times. There was this one word in my speech. After I gave my speech, the audience would come to me and said, "What did I say?" That word was cardiologist. I practiced it, but my pronunciation was not precise. Finally, I decided to use heart doctor instead of cardiologist. I wanted to make sure the audience understands each and every word I say. The secret number 4 was something which I was not paying attention to at all. The use of rhetorical questions. What is a rhetorical question? A rhetorical question is used to make a point, is used to draw the audience's attention to a specific topic. The purpose of a rhetorical question is not to get an answer. For example, what's not to like? Here, I'm trying to make a point. In another example, who really discovered America? Here, I'm trying to introduce a topic. The best thing about rhetorical question is that it can be used in the introduction of the speech as well as into the conclusion of the speech. I have realized that rhetorical question can make a difference in the speech. And finally, the most important secret is sharing our emotions, our feelings, our vulnerability with the audience. When we share our analytical reactions, what is going on with us, it really makes a connection with the audience. My vocabulary of feelings was not very good. Finally, I have a page where I've written all the various feelings. So whenever I'm writing a script, I will refer to that so that I can share what exactly is happening with me in that precise moment. When I share my emotions, my vulnerability, it connects with the audience. So these 5 secrets have been very helpful for me. The secret number 1, when I use shorter sentences, it's easier for the audience to follow me. The secret number 2, when I use contractions, it makes my speech more conversational. The secret number 3, using easy to pronounce words so that the audience can understand each and every word I say. The secret number 4, rhetorical question, to make a point or to draw the audience's attention. And finally, the most important one, sharing my feelings, my emotions, my vulnerability with the audience so that I can make a connection. Do your speeches sound conversational? If not, I would like to encourage you to incorporate these 5 secrets. What's not to like about these 5 secrets of conversational style? Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhijit. I really enjoyed your speech and I've learned the 5 secrets well. I've taken down the notes. Now we have 1 minute to share with Abhijit what you think you like about the speech and what he can improve more. And start from now, 1 minute, please. Timer. Please let us know when the 1 minute is over.
Sure. Yeah, 1 minute is up.
Thank you, Madam Timer. Now it's time for us to listen to our second speaker. The second speaker is Jamal George, is giving her speech for the humorous speech contest. And to speak in 5 to 7 minutes. Can I have the evaluator, Toastmaster Jadip, to give us the speech purposes? Thank you.
It's Jackie Love.
Okay, thank you.
Oh.
No worries. So Jamal's speech is from the Engaging Humor Pathways. This is her level 3 speech, engage your audience with humor. She is doing the speech for the humorous speech contest that's going to be coming up for Fall Fusion. And her goal is just to have a speech that makes us laugh.
Thank you. Sorry.
Go ahead. Back to you.
Yes. Thank you, Jackie. After the speech, kindly give her a feedback in the areas that you like and areas to improve to help her to take the speech to the next level. Please write in the chat and send to her privately. You are given 1 minute to evaluate. Thank you so much. Jamal, a trip to remember. Jamal George.
It's snowing in Chicago, right in the middle of July. The snow outside is 3 feet high. The airport is snowed in, and we are all in the airport. We settle in for a long night. I and 57 miserable, cranky travelers are trapped in this airport. I am exhausted. I'm angry and I'm starving. Contest chair and fellow Toastmasters. It's 8 p.m. at night. I look around for food and the food court is closing. I'm about to go, but then my carry-on handle bag raised its arm up in the air and leaned towards me, saying, "Don't abandon me." I would never abandon my favorite Gucci bag. Come with me. I hop from one counter to another, only to hear, "Sorry, we're closed." We're closed. Until I see McDonald's. I know you want it. Hot, juicy, tasty Big Mac for only $3.99. That Big Mac has my name on it. I'm about to grab it, but then I put my hand back to get my wallet. My wallet. My wallet. My wallet! I look everywhere and I just can't find it. All my credit cards are gone and I haven't even maxed them out. Maybe the airport security officer will help me. "Officer, I don't have my wallet." "Ma'am, when was the last time you saw your wallet?" "About an hour ago, officer." "Ma'am, did you lose your wallet at the airport?" "Did I lose my wallet at the airport? Why am I talking to you, officer?" "Please calm down, ma'am. Please show me your ID." "What is an ID?" "An ID is a paper card with your name and photo, such as your driver's license or passport." "Officer, my ID is in the wallet. My wallet is lost." I'm standing in front of him. What version of reality does he want to see? Is the real me not good enough? "Sorry, ma'am, we need your ID to help you." What a waste of time. My survival instincts kick in. I see a half-eaten egg roll near the trash and I grab it before anybody else does. And I gobble it. No, I inhale it. I start looking through the trash for my wallet. Even though I live in Silicon Valley, have a home, a nice job, a great family, here I am searching through the trash can. I begin to notice the people around me in the airport. Men checking out their hair in the glass reflection, and women checking out the men who are checking them out. And I still wonder, did any one of these people take my wallet? As the hours go by, it becomes quieter and colder. Luckily, I have a red blanket, long and wide enough to wrap me and my carry-on bags. I sit comfortably with my warm, snuggly blanket. But I still feel cold and I cannot fall asleep. I go to the restroom, and then, to my surprise, there it is. The hand dryer. It was love at first sight. The hand dryer is so much fun to play with, sitting underneath it, hitting the button for the hot gush of air, enjoying my newfound companion. I take the button with the chewing gum and voila, a continuous flow of air. I sleep like a baby and wake up in the morning. And then, to my total and utter surprise, I find peeping deep within my clothes as I open my bag, my wallet. My wallet is exactly in the same place I left it hours earlier. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Maybe, just maybe, I go a little crazy when I get hungry. Walking with my wallet and my carry-on bags, I see people smiling. Perhaps they're as relieved as I am. The airline gives us a free breakfast voucher. We board the plane and we arrive safely home in San Francisco. This trip reminds me that life is filled with experiences, and we face new experiences every single day. Say yes to every experience. Each experience, no matter how pleasant or unpleasant, is temporary. This awareness helps me become my full and true self. This experience helps me to bounce back from adversity. What do you do when faced with unexpected situation? What do you do when you lose your wallet? What do you do when you lose your partner? Perhaps your wallet is just where you left it. Your partner? I'm not so sure. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jamo. Wonderful speech. Now let's write our evaluations in 1 minute. Timer, please take note, 1 minute, and inform us.
Yes. Yeah, 1 minute is up.
Thank you, Madam Timer. And thank you to our wonderful speakers for sharing their feelings with us. We have come to the end of our first session. Feelings. Let me share with you some experience about my feelings. I study photography and my passion is photography. I took a course in image evaluation. When you look at an image, what is the impact? Whether it is a landscape or a portrait, what impacts you? What are your feelings and emotions that is most important in looking at a photo or an image? Look for the subject's emotions and feelings. You can find the impact. Now, we are going to move on to table topics. We have our table topics master, Toastmaster Elizabeth Chitoras. To you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Toastmaster. I'm excited to lead this table topic session about feelings. I'm about to share with everyone a feelings inventory, which I thought might be helpful, which everyone can take a look at during this little session. The point of table topics is for us to practice our impromptu speaking skills, like when you're sitting around the table at a dinner party and someone asks a question and you have to think really fast to get your answer out. So you don't have much time. So what I'll be doing is I will be calling on you if you don't have a speaking role, and I'm hoping that you will accept this challenge to give a very small impromptu 1 to 2 minute speech. The goal is to speak for at least 1 minute. So I hope you've had a chance to open up this feelings inventory. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a few of these feelings off of this inventory. And I'm going to ask you to talk about this particular feeling when I call on you. I'm looking for a few different things. I'm going to give you some prompts here. You can talk about a time when you experienced this feeling. You can talk about what it feels like in your body to have this feeling. Different feelings come up in different ways for different people. That could be some way to, assess this feeling. And maybe you've never had this feeling before. And you could talk about maybe someone else you know who had this feeling and you observed that. So whatever comes up for you, however you are feeling about this, I'm hoping that you'll be willing to give it a try. So let's get started. First, I would like to call on Shobha. And Shobha, your feeling today is perplexed. Feeling of being baffled or puzzled.
Thank you for the question, Elizabeth. The situation itself makes me perplexed about you calling out my name this evening, right? There have been numerous situations which has definitely put me into this mode of feeling. If I have to relate, then I would definitely think about the recent interview what I gave for one of the role. And it was a director that I was just speaking to. And the conversation went into a rapid fire round, which I never expected. And the response to those questions had to be very spontaneous. Understanding that the person was a site leader, it had a lot of confusions, and I never knew how to confront him or respond. But to my best ability, I had to gain confidence and think over of the situation, the real-time situation that I believed, so that I could appropriately answer him on the questions that he had asked me. And it was definitely not a good one, but I tried my best and I lived up to myself, being the person that I am, so that I don't fake out things. And trust me, I did get that role and I'm on with the job, and it's been 6 months and it's been a great learning so far. Thank you so much for this time, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Shobha. Yes, sometimes when we're in these kinds of situations which are challenging and are testing us, we have these, I would say, negative feelings. So we're not in a position where our needs are being met and our negative feelings are coming up. That gives you that opportunity to sort of rise above, which you did. I love that you ended your story with such a success. So thank you. Next, I would like to call on Dean. Your word or feeling of the day, Dean, is enchanted. This word enchanted, which means to be filled with delight.
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. While you were giving out that inventory of feeling, I remember back to a class called Nonviolent Communication I took at De Anza College. And basically what nonviolent communication is a four action: observing, feeling, needs, and resolve. So that it's a way to connect and try to make other people connect with you, so that you don't get into like argument. That's what Marshall Rosenberg, when he originally wrote the book, for. The observation is kind of not that important, or it's not that important, but what's more important is feeling and needs. So basically you want to make a connection. So you can say, I feel that I'm enchanted because I need to have happiness. So basically a feeling and a need statement. But usually you use more like a difficult statement. For example, I would say, I feel overwhelmed because I need support. Like, for example, you might talk to your significant other. So that's an example of a feeling and a need statement that you want to use when you try to connect to someone who's significant other. And since I don't have a significant other, I thought this was a good club because it was an interpersonal Toastmaster club, and now you're practicing interpersonal skill rather than just public speaking skill. So that's how I want to use is that I'm just giving an example because enchanted is such a positive word. It's not really that easy to use for when you try to use nonviolent communication. It's mostly used for trying to get people to make connection and trying to make peace with your significant other or your friend. Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Dean. I really appreciated your approach to this word, and you bring up so many good points in your short speech. And yes, there are quite a few of us here, probably at this meeting, who have read Marshall Rosenberg's book and are very enchanted with the nonviolent communication. And an interesting aspect is that we tend to gravitate to the negative. And we're thinking about the negative feelings for when our needs aren't being met. And I think that Marshall Rosenberg would also say it's equally important to celebrate the positive feelings when our needs are being met, which is why I'm including both the positive and the negative. I think as humans, we tend to gravitate towards the negative. So thank you, Dean, for bringing that up. The next person I would like to call on is Pallavi. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yes.
And your feeling is fragile.
Fragile.
Mm.
I don't think I'll be able to speak for that long.
Okay.
Fragile means something that's very delicate, right? Or vulnerable.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so you have caught me at my vulnerable state, I would say. This is so my main motivation to join this club today was to work on myself, to be able to speak in front of multiple people, because that's something which is very challenging for me. It has always been very challenging for me to go up to strangers, initiate a conversation, and continue that, because I have seen that sometimes, no, actually not sometimes, most of the times they lose interest because I cannot hold their interest. So I would say that that's something that I'm trying to work on, and I hope that I get to learn that from these sessions. So back to you.
Thank you, Pallavi. You spoke for more than a minute. You did a fantastic job, and I think that was the right word for you. And I really appreciate your vulnerability and sharing with the group, because I know I have felt that way too. And I think a lot of people who join Toastmasters initially are terrified of doing what you just did. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
I think I'm probably out of time, Madam Toastmaster. So I believe I will turn it back over to you. Thank you, everyone, for sharing the feelings.
Thank you, Toastmaster Elizabeth. I enjoyed the topics, interesting and thought-provoking, just by the one word of the feeling, perplexed, enchanted, and fragile. Let's move on to the evaluation session. To evaluate the first speaker, Toastmaster Abhijit, is Toastmaster Jaideep Ritido. To you, Jaideep.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Abhijit, I really liked your vocal variety. It really added a flavor to the speech. Based on that, you could tell your ups and downs, especially when you're talking about contractions. That was a very relatable experience, because whenever we want to learn something new, it's just you don't know if you're doing this right or you're doing this wrong. So that's very relatable. And also, you talked about vulnerability. And again, I think this did a great job of expressing your internal emotional state. You made yourself kind of vulnerable by talking about a struggle of yours. And in that, we were all really just able to relate to that, I think. So I think those things you did really well. I couldn't really find anything that you need to improve on, but as far as challenging yourself, one thing maybe is more examples about yourself specifically. You did give a few, but maybe kind of go more in depth about your own specific examples, kind of talk more about that. So to summarize, maybe talk more about your own examples and your own struggles there. And for what you did well, I would say that you really did make yourself vulnerable, express yourself well, and had great vocal variety and gestures. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Jaideep. To evaluate the second speaker, Toastmaster Jamal, we have Toastmaster Jackie Law. Jackie, to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Jamal, your speech was phenomenal. I laughed at so many points in it, and there's a lot of reasons why. I'll talk about 3 reasons specifically why it was such an effective speech. So first, you had very deliberate actions. All your actions, none of them were extra hand wavy types of actions. Any action you did, I could tell that you had practiced and you had chosen them specifically with your speech. When you pointed to yourself, when you talked about the snow, all the things, very deliberate actions. So I could have an idea of the imagery. Second was your pacing. Your pacing was very consistent in the introduction, which made it really effective for when you were frantic. When you're frantic, you're talking faster, and that juxtaposition of that frantic fastness and the steady imagery setting made it accentuate the franticness. The third thing that really helped with the imagery was your, I guess, acting. You talked about, or you shared your expressions with when you lost your wallet. I could feel the awkwardness when you're looking for your wallet. I could feel the frantic and anxiety you felt when you realized you lost your wallet. And my favorite scene was with the officer, where you also had more juxtaposition with the stoic officer and your angriness and irritation about how incompetent they were and them asking silly questions. So the juxtaposition you had paired with really accentuated the imagery and made it a funny speech. Honestly, there wasn't too much I have for improvement. The one small thing was in the introduction where you were talking about the people at the airport, how they're miserable and cranky and how you're starving. I would have added a little more facial expressions in there, show how miserable people were, how cranky they were with just a little more facial expression. I think that would be great. Other than that, hilarious speech, and I hope to hear it at Fall Fusion.
Thank you, Jackie. Now it's time for us to have the timers report. Can we have the timers report, please? Madam Timer?
Yeah, everyone was on time. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't make note of time for each of everyone's, but then yeah.
All right, all right. It's a learning process. It doesn't matter. For the next time at the meeting, the timer's role is to record all the speakers, especially the prepared speeches and table topics and the evaluators. Already you have given the timing sequence as from 5 to 7 minutes, from 1 to 2 minutes, and from 2 to 3 minutes. So you have to time them and make sure that all the speakers are within the speaking timing slot. It's okay. Thank you. The next one, we will have the R counters report, please. To you, R counter. Rizal?
Oh, that's me. I forgot. So do I just read it like each one by one?
Yes, yes.
So I've got Abhijit Joshi, 1, 0 0 like, 0 you knows, 0 so, 0 but, 0 and, 0 tongue click. I saw 3 pauses, mostly very strategic. I really enjoyed the speech. 0 false starts. I don't know what Xerox is, but I just have 0 for that. Jamal, George, oh my God, you're like a natural. So 0 almost for everything. 3 strategic pauses. Elizabeth, I didn't really catch anything, so 0 for everything. Shobha, Samuel, you did a table topics, I believe. You had a couple, just 7 or 0 0 like, 0 you know, 0 so, 0 but, 4 and, 0 tongue clicks, 3 pauses, 0 Xerox, 0 false starts. Dean Chen, 0 or 0 0 like, 0 you know, 3 so's, 0 buts, 1 and, 0 tongue clicks, 3 pauses, 0 Xeroxes, 0 false starts. Pallavi, you had 6 uhs or ahs, 0 0 likes, 0 you knows, 1 so, 0 but, 0 and, 0 tongue clicks, 3 pauses, 0 Xerox, 0 false start. Carol, I didn't really catch anything for yours. Right, I wasn't really watching you that much. I didn't know I was supposed to watch everyone. I saw 0 for you for all the categories. For Jaydeep, that was a great feedback speech. I didn't catch any, so the 0 for all the above. For Jackie Law, I caught 3 pauses and 1 false start. That's all I have.
Thank you, Rija. Well, for the R counters report, what you usually do is you just say the speaker, Toastmaster Abhijit, no time fillers, no R's or ums, you just say one only, no, 0. And another one, if you have three, you say 3 ums, 4 pauses, 5 okay, that's all. The 0, you don't have to report on it. All right.
I
Thank
figured,
you.
but okay, that's perfect.
Yes, that is the report that is usually for the R counter. Before we adjourn, we have come to the end of the evaluation session. Before we adjourn, we will have our president, Jamal, to have a closing speech and get the feelings and feedbacks of our guests. To you, President Jamal.
Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you so much. I really want to applaud to all our first timers who did their functionary roles. Swati, timer, awesome. Thank you so much for stepping up and being the timer for today. Jaydeep, first time as an evaluator. Excellent, great job. Rishabh, first time as an R counter. Excellent, I love it. And everybody did their best. And I want to ask the guest their experience. So I'm going to start off with Pallavi. How was your experience today?
It was great for me. It was great for me. This is what I'm looking for. I think I'm at the right place. So I'm just hoping to get the best from this.
Awesome. You came to the right place. Come again next week. And then if you're interested in joining, do let me know and
Sure.
we'll get you started with that. Yeah, perfect. Swati, how was your experience today?
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, although the timer role was like a coincident thing, like last minute thing, yeah, I enjoyed doing it. I made like a small mistakes here and there, but yeah, it's a learning process. Yeah.
Totally, I totally agree. Toastmasters, we learn every meeting, we learn, and this is a safe place to learn and grow. And thank you so much, Swati, to take on the role at the last minute. Yeah, thank you so much. Come again next meeting as well. And Dean, how was your experience today?
I really like this meeting. I think this might be a newer club. And what I really like is what Toastmaster always stand for. You give the newer people feedback on what they did and what they did would do correctly without being critical. So more positive feedback. So they will learn next time on how to do anything better. So I felt that was great. And that's a great example of how Toastmasters should be. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Dean, for joining the meeting. And I hope you'll come again next time. And I want to open up the floor. Let's see, Shobha, how was your experience today?
Jamal, absolutely stunning third week of me being a part of this club. So yeah, I'm very consistent about picking the words that I wanted to utilize or use during my interaction with others. So I keep noting down when everyone speak. And yes, at times it is like, you know the word, but you don't know how to express it, right? When Elizabeth asked me about perplexed, I said, I know the word, how I'm going to utilize it, right? So that is exactly, and that randomly flew. So all these impromptu things are my day-to-day life, right? So these are the situations that I live every day, and I want to improvise. And I will be there next week also with my notepad, noting down all those excellent words and incorporating in my day-to-day work life.
Totally, yeah. Toastmasters has enriched my life. Every meeting, I learn from others' story, the evaluations, and even just listening and even participating. I learn a lot of things. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thank you. Great. Glad to hear. Karthik, how was your experience?
Yeah, it was a great experience. This was my second time. The table topics was very interesting. It's incredible that how on impromptu basis someone can speak more than 1 or 2 minutes. I congratulate each and every participant. Yeah, overall it was a very great experience.
Awesome. Thank you, Karthik. I hope we can see you
Yeah,
turn on your camera next time.
Definitely. There is some issue with my laptop. I tried to fix it, but definitely before the next meeting.
Great, great. Abhishek, how was your experience?
I had a great time, and I concur with Karthik that this time, yeah, table topic was really good, and the topic was good, and the whole discussion was really good, and the speeches were, as always, really good. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this, joining this, and I feel like lucky to have found this group. So yeah, I plan to continue.
Awesome, glad to hear. Rishabh, how was your experience?
As always, it's amazing. It's amazing to see all kinds of people, joining. And I was mentoring Pallavi a little bit. I was just saying, we're all terrified. We're all jumping off a cliff. So, it's always great to jump off together. So let's keep it moving.
That's right. Yes. And we are all there to help you. Yes. We have to start from somewhere. And I'm so glad you've taken the first step. Jaydeep, how was your experience?
Yeah, it was really fantastic. Kind of echoing Rishabh's sentiment that, yeah, we do have to really jump off a cliff. And it's, or another way to look at it is kind of diving into water, you just kind of treading, then you learn to swim, and eventually you just become natural. So, hopefully we'll all get to that point soon.
Thank you. And Jackie came from my other club. Jackie is from Toastmasters. Evelyn, Jackie, how was your experience today?
Oh, it was really great. I really enjoyed today's meeting. This is, I think, the third time I've seen your speech, and I see it improve every time. So for my job as evaluator, that was so difficult. I was like, I'm out of things to talk about because every time I give feedback, I see it incorporated the next time I watch it. So really great. Also, I did not realize so many people were first-time evaluators, first-time timers, first-time odd counters, a lot of guests or fairly new members, and I did not realize that at all until you mentioned so many people had their first time of a certain role. So honestly, great job to everyone who stepped up, took on a role. You all did really, really well. Yeah. Oh, and especially the guests who did table topics. I know it's always very, very scary the first time. Before I joined Toastmasters, as the type of person that kind of Pallavi talked about, how you start talking and you realize you kind of just start trailing off. You don't really finish your sentence because you see that people aren't really paying attention. That was me before. Now it happens a lot less, and I definitely think it has to do with Toastmasters. So yes, you're definitely in the right place to have a supportive group of people. As someone else has told me, Toastmasters, even if you bomb your speech, people will still be applauding at the end of it. So it's a great place for learning and for failing because it's okay. Jimal, back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jackie. That was really, really inspirational. And thank you for sharing your story as well. Thank you. So next week, it's needs. Now we have feelings. Now feelings are pointers to needs. So come back next time because we want to know how to use the right vocabulary when it comes to needs. And by labeling the feelings and then what is the need associated with it will help us continue our conversation, our interpersonal communication. It's 7 p.m. and I adjourn this meeting. And if you want to stay back, please feel free to stay back to ask any questions. If not, I'll see you next week.